1059 The Region.
My wife's cousin is a dairy farmer in Fergus, and I know the dedication it takes to run a farm. How did the Thompson farm keep it going through these generations so it stays around and keeps feeding the region?
Well, we learned a lot, right? As you continue farming, you learn and you figure out how to make things work, and you have an interest in what you're doing. So you're interested in learning and making things work as you move forward through the years.
It's amazing. And, the one thing I always find, BJ, about potatoes is there's all these trendy foods that come and go. But the one thing that you can count on a recipe book, no matter where it's printed, is the potato.
Yep, that's true. Yes. It is a staple for sure. And it's an important food for sure.
And a lot of people misunderstand. Potato has certain vitamins and nutrients that are really important to your diet.
Yeah, potassium is a key one in there too. So yeah, it's one of the very important members of our food group, and we of course eat a lot of them and encourage people to as well.
Oh, you don't have to worry about that with us. I know our family potatoes are almost on the table every day. Now, there's obviously different styles of potatoes: baking, mash, boiling. When people are out looking for fresh produce in York Region for certain recipes, what are certain types of potatoes they should be looking at for certain meals?
Well, when you're making your roasted potatoes, that's a really good one to use Yukon Golds for. If you're making your mashed potatoes, whites are excellent to do that with. And baking potato would be the russet. And that's the one, they're all very versatile, and you can switch them up and use them around in different recipes, but they do have a little bit of a specialty which way to cook them.
And now at Thompson Potato Farm, how many different styles of potatoes would you guys grow?
We grow whites, we grow russets, and we grow yellow potatoes. So we grow three different kinds.
That's fantastic. And you're also supplying restaurants, grocery stores, wholesale companies. I mean, how many potatoes would you guys produce in a year?
Oh, well, that's kind of a really hard question. Let's see. A lot. We farm an awful lot of acres. So, I mean, we have buildings full. We're just in the harvest right now. So we filled up one of our buildings, and we're moving on to the second building. So they're full of potatoes.
And how many acres of potatoes would you guys grow on average?
Again, it sort of changes from year to year, but we grow just under 500 acres of vegetables, like in total.
Wow.
That's not all potatoes. There's rotation crops in there as well as sweet corn too. So that's something else that we grow.
And I know one thing about my wife and I are parents, and we have teenage girls, and we're always harping on them to eat your vegetables, eat your fruit. And it's funny because in the diet and everything people eat, that can be so important to the health of a child or an adult, is having some fresh homegrown vegetables.
Yeah, and we're big on that here too. It's really something else when I want dinner and I just sort of grab my pitchfork and my little trowel and head out to the field and pull up a plant and wash the dirt off it and cook it for dinner. Same thing with the sweet corn straight from the field. So yeah, it's a great way to get our produce is right off the farm every night for dinner. That
is so amazing. Now, is it open to the public? Can people check out the Thompson Potato Farm?
Oh, yes, we are open to the public. We have a small produce stand that's open like 7 days a week, and we always have our potatoes for sale with usually maybe some onions. Sweet corn is really popular. So anyone can come in anytime, and they're just for sale right at the door, yes.
Okay, now what's your address? If people want to swing by and pick up some of this amazing produce, because they're probably getting hungry listening to this, where would they find it?
We're at 19228 McCowan Road, which is just outside of Mount Albert. And we also have all of this information on our website. We launched it in April. And I've been very diligent this whole summer in documenting the entire growing process of potatoes and how they're grown. And it's all on the website, as well as directions, information, more of our history, all that kind of good stuff.
I know I'm not a good farm boy. I'm a city boy. But is it true you can take a chunk of potato, plant it in the ground, and it grows?
Yes.
That is true.
Yes. Yeah, you can do that. Now, we don't. They're kind of bulky. Like our seed potatoes come to us by the tractor trailer load. So they're a very bulky seed And that's actually another whole business, is growing seed potatoes. It's a whole other industry.
No.
But you can chunk your potato and poke it in the ground and keep your fingers crossed. Yes.
Okay, you can do that. Now, when would you plant your harvest? When would you start planting your potatoes, BJ?
Oh, we start in the spring, and it varies like from year to year. If everything works out ideally, we can be out in the fields starting to spread the manure and working the land in April, and we can start planting as soon as the ground warms up enough and is dry enough for the tractors and trucks to drive through it properly. So you want it all planted. We always aim to have it done by mid-May or even the May long weekend to have the crops all planted.
Well, this was an unusually hot and dry summer in the region. How did it affect your potato crop?
Oh boy, it was hot and dry. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it did affect our crop. We have the capacity to irrigate about half our crop here. The other half cannot be irrigated. So you're looking at less yield per plant, less yield per acre, and smaller sized, unfortunately. So it's just, it was a tough year for our farm and for farms all over southern Ontario, too. It was very widespread, the drought this year.
So you listeners out there, you got to stop by the Thompson Potato Farm and their produce stand and help support them after what they've been through with the weather this summer. BJ, it's a real thrill to speak to you, and all the best with your harvest and continued success with a potato farm and a farm that's been feeding York Region since the 1940s.
Well, thank you very much. It was a real pleasure talking with you today, Jim.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine, BJ. Take care.
We're the station everyone's talking about because we talk about you. York Region, we are your radio station. 105.9